Now, the Ghana Football Association announced yesterday that they have a new gaffer. His name is Carlos Queiroz. You guys want to know whether he's a good fit or not? Let's talk. Now, you want to know who Carlos Queiroz is? I'll first start with the good and the bad, and then I'll drop in the bad, or you can say the ugly side of the new Ghana coach. Queiroz is really experienced when we talk about coaching. Yep, Carlos Queiroz is really experienced. And when I say experienced, what I mean is that he's been through all the aspects of the game, on the club side and on the national side. He's been everywhere. In fact, in all continents of the world, apart from Oceania and North America, he's been in every area. Now, Queiroz is leading this team because he's worked with a lot of experienced gaffers as well. He worked under Sir Alex Ferguson, which you already know if you've been reading his profile on social media. So I wouldn't spend much time on the experience. And like I said, he's also been in almost all the continents. And he's coached top players. I'll use the top players to clarify something later. Like Ronaldo, like Cristiano Ronaldo as well. Ronaldo de Lima, Ronaldo Cristiano, Luis Figo, and the likes. He's worked with almost all of them. Mohamed Salah. Now, one thing that is good about Queiroz is that his team is usually seen as a solidly defensive team. He fixes defensive frailties, and then he adds that or complements that with direct play. And they are assured. Direct play, counter-attacking football, you will get it with Carlos Queiroz. If you want the perfect examples, look at 2014 World Cup. The 2018 World Cup rather, where they were in a group with Portugal, Spain and Morocco. So they defeated Morocco 1-0. They drew against Portugal 1-1, and then they lost to Spain. You might be thinking that Iran versus Spain, SAA 6 and 5, but ended 1-0. You will then talk about the 2022 World Cup, which England walloped them by 6-1. But I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on the 2018 performance. He made his nation proud, even though they could not win, they could not qualify because Spain had 5 points, Portugal had 5 points, and then Iran had 4 points. Morocco were the last on that front. Now, when we talk about direct play, look at his team at the AFCON 2021. After losing their first game, they went on to beat Guinea-Bissau and Sudan. You say these are weaker opponents, but you look at the other opponents that they had. One, they defeated Morocco 2-1. If you watch that game, they created chances, but they were solid defensively. Against Ivory Coast, they also won that game. It was a round of 16 game which they won. So his body of work is built around defensive football and direct play. Is that what Ghana needs, especially at the World Cup? The answer is yes. One, we'll be playing against England and Croatia. These are games that we might not be dominant. And I've mentioned this on previous occasions of this show, that we might not be dominant in our games, so we need a coach that solidifies our defense, and that to some extent is Carlos Queiroz. If you think about anything at this World Cup, you want us to beat Panama, we can defend and beat Panama. We can play an open game and still beat Panama. But if we want to pick points against certain opponents, don't forget that we've already mentioned that we have a short time in preparations as we've sacked Otuado, so we need a new gaffer. The new gaffer comes in, and we still have to understand that we have a short time in preparation, and the coach has not spent a lot of time with the team. So perfectly, we will go defensive, and the option for us is Carlos Queiroz, which I agree with the Ghana Football Association. Now, let's talk about the bad side. I've mentioned 3 good sides. He's an experienced gaffer. He's working with top personalities, top players, even though he fell out with some of them. Top players, and he's also fits into the style of play that we will need for this World Cup. If we are not going to spend the 13 million just for the group stage, we want to qualify from the group stage to the round of 16 and possibly the quarter-final. We will be defensive, and Carlos fits that bill. Now, the bad side, the BS3, but bad side, the BS3. Carlos Queiroz had a fallout with Portugal. After training, Portugal's anti-doping agency came to their training ground to conduct a doping test. asemi na no when Carlos Buffy na Carlos ke can adventure on no any chrome antidote we nye FIFA nye UEFA those in his own country that the players want to rest. What are you guys doing here? He got angry and he did that. The Portugal Federation sanctioned him for 1 month. It caused a rift between him and the federation, so he had to be sacked. He left the job because he had the 6-month ban from the Portugal Federation because he challenged the anti-doping agency of Portugal. Now that is one. Number 2, fallout with South Africa. In 2002, Queiroz was coaching the South African national team, and you know what he did when he came? He qualified the team to the World Cup. He played in the AFCON 2002. If you remember, Mali 2002, Ghana were in the same group with South Africa. We drew that game. We drew our second game. We beat Burkina Faso with Isaac Boache's late goals. And we went to the next stage and we lost to Nigeria, Gabalawao. And then South Africa also lost to Mali, who were also playing in that tournament as the host. And then after the tournament, he resigned. He was sacked in March. He said he did not resign. He resigned because the technical director of the South Africa Football Association, his name is Jomo Sono. Sono was added to his role. And he says, nah, I'm a coach. If you add a technical director to my coaching staff, it means you don't want me to work. So I'm leaving. So 1, I've mentioned fallout with authorities. And I've mentioned another one, fallout with authorities once again. That is point 2. Point 3, touchline tantrums. Against South Korea, it was for the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. Yep, the 2014 World Cup qualifiers. And the South Korean coach, his name is Choi Kang-hee. Choi complained that Iran did not give them the best of treatment when they came to Tehran for the World Cup qualifier. Visa problems, training facilities, he said they were not the best. So he will replicate that when they moved to South Korea. He started talking and even mentioned that he will beat Iran, so Uzbekistan, who are in the same group with these two teams, will then qualify. And that Carlos Queiroz will watch the matches on TV. He will watch the World Cup at home on TV. He wouldn't be there. You know what Queiroz did? Queiroz went for the second leg and wore a shirt, a t-shirt, printed Choi Kang-hee's picture in that t-shirt in South Korea. Drama kakra. Tibubenya ni nebi coach na yakofano drama kakra ne touchline tokwa kakra any administrative tokwa kakra. He will not shy from these things. He won that game in South Korea and qualified and then continued doing the drama. He raised his fist. I'm saying Pompeo fist bisana. The South Koreans felt it was an obscene gesture and they complained. He said he did not care. So I've mentioned 3 points on the touchline, on the bad side of Queiroz. He's a fine coach. He will give you all the defensive play that you want if that's what you want. But he's noted for fallout. He's not even at the AFCON 2021. Didn't you see him in the stands? Can you imagine Ghana playing an AFCON final whereby our coach is in the stands? Yeah, Egypt for maybe okay, because Nancy no moje. But we have not won AFCON in a while now. Our head coach is in the stands when we are playing the final. Egypt, Senegal. The coach was not on the bench. He was in the stand because he was shown a red card in the previous game. That is the semi-final. That is the coach that we have now. So there's a good side of him and then there's a bad side of Carlos Queiroz. Touchline tantrums, administrative differences, and also Timibem and our face. If you try to dictate for him, he will not be happy. That is the coach that we want.